live in the building. I dance on my dance up. You ready? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Get up by your seat. Let your body move. Cowboys and cowgirls, they feeling the groove. Sipping on moonshine, fire barrel rolling. I'ma get behind that thing, girl, and hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Got my boots on the ground. Yes, sir. Lord have mercy. Oh, oh, oh. Got my boots on the ground. Fans, please. I hope you got good knees, cause we gon' get it up. Everybody's dancing to that juke joint love. Hold on to your wig, hold on to your man, cause the steppers in that building, y'all, and they throwing them fans. Come on. Whoa, oh, 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 oh. Got my boots on the ground. Yeah. Oh, oh, oh. Got my boots on the ground, baby. Wait a minute. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Wait a minute now, where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time, hit me two times. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Yeah, yeah. Oh. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Wait a minute, let me do that one more time for the ones who can't hear me. Listen here. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Boots on the ground, kicking up some dust. Wait a minute now, where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Hit me one time, hit me two times. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, 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 I got my boots on the ground. Y'all know I don't mind. Yes, sir. Boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Boots on the ground. Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Where them fans at? Oh, 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 oh.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, I didn't realize you were in the same shirt as me.
I know. I didn't realize it either until I sat down. I'm like, oh, she got the same shirt on. Shows you how much we've seen each other in the past hour.
I know, geez.
We walked by each other and didn't see each other.
Great shirts, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Later on, we'll tell you how to get them.
Save the star.
Get down, please. Thank you.
So, how's it going, everybody?
It's really close. Yeah. Okay. Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
To the show.
How's it going? Happy Tuesday. It's been a long it's not Tuesday, it's Thursday. Shit. It's been a long week, absolutely. So here we go. Let's get after it. So we got Peter in the green room backstage here, ready to come on. We got a good night of stuff lined up to discuss with him, and we literally just got home with scarfing down dinner.
Yeah,
so.
sorry.
Chicken
fettuccine Alfredo.
It's wonderful.
I'm just gonna eat this one.
I already chopped mine down. So anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna bring Peter on pretty quick. No, he just disappeared, but he probably had to get a beverage or something. And there he is. Hey, Peter, how you doing? But yeah, we want to bring him in pretty quick. We got a lot to cover with him. We had a lot to talk about the State House the other day. Just en route, and
Where do my videos go? Sorry, I was talking out loud. Get away from
the all the things to the Mass State Police with their the General Order SOC 11 to basically it's a new policy for behavioral and mental health issues for dealing with people when they show up on the scene. So that kind of came out. I think it was dated for the 31st of July, but I just heard about it today, so maybe I'm a little bit behind the curve here. But it's still, we'll talk to Peter about it and see if he has any insight on it. And if he doesn't, then we're all learning together, I guess. So anyway,
do you want to bring him on?
Yeah, let's bring him in. Without further ado, let's bring Peter. You ready to roll? He's ready.
There he is.
There he is.
Good evening.
Peter, how are you tonight?
I'm doing well. It's kind of a difficult day, I think, for all of us. We look back 24 years ago, one of the more horrific days in probably our history. At my age, I do remember JFK's tragic assassination in '63, but the World Trade Towers and 9/11. What can you say other than rest in peace? And the heroes that day need to be remembered always. And I hope it never happens again.
Yeah.
It's been a bad couple of days. We saw what happened in Utah. I mean, I don't mean to put a negative spin on it, but it's the thin blue line, and it's the world we live in, and we have to work together across the aisle to fix it. I'm not going to steal any more of your show. You go.
Oh, no, absolutely, Peter. I mean, this is why we brought you on. People hear enough from us.
Yeah, right.
They don't want to hear us talk. But that being said, too, though, I mean, real quick, I just want to kind of throw a brief moment of silence on for today, as you mentioned. So everybody just kind of put some prayers into the chat and have a quick moment of silence. It's an amazing, tragic day in history. So. All right. Very good. Thank you, everybody. Yeah. What an unbelievable day. Do you remember where you were, Peter, when you heard about the first plane hitting one of the towers?
Huh. I have a quick story for you on how I remember. I had taken my daughter, who had recently graduated from University of Maryland with a communications degree, down. Oh, I took her up to New York. I obviously took her down from Massachusetts, where we lived, but I delivered her in New York and apartment, and I just had a very eerie feeling about the city of New York. It was my first time there, being in the inner city. It was Labor Day weekend. Everybody was out of town, and the buildings were tall, but it was just almost a blood-curdling silence. And it's the only way I can describe it. You looked around, and there were very few people on the street. And I had committed to stay overnight and drive back the next day. My wife was going to stay down and help my daughter unpack and get settled and fly back. And that's what happened. And I just drove out of there, and I said, Jenna, stay safe. I just have a bad feeling. And I ended up a couple of days later in the hospital with what they thought was spinal meningitis, just a tremendously brutal headache, pounding, high blood pressure. Paramedics came. I was in uniform, actually, on a detail. Spent the night doing spinal taps, and in the morning, the doctors came to my side with all their clipboards. Right, here's all their clipboards. Right, they're all business order. Bless you, Trace. And
Thank you.
All of a sudden, the TV's on. The guy beside me had the TV on, and I see one of the towers light up. And I'm going, geez, quarter of 9 guy, a little early on Towering Inferno, aren't you? And And then all of a sudden, all the doctors cleared out when the second tower got hit, and it became a reality.
Yeah,
That's where I was. I'll never forget
Yeah.
it. And of course, I couldn't reach her. I had no way of communication. All the towers were down. Finally, the chief of police knew how worried I would have been, and he knew where I was. So he called the hospital and said, "Tell Peter his daughter communicated at 11:30." But from 9 until 11:30, I was in the process of checking out of the hospital to drive to New York.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine that, not knowing that those moments for so many families that,
Right.
just waiting to hear, and sadly the ones that didn't. What about you? Where were you?
I had actually just gotten off a plane from California. I got in late that night, and I remember calling my boss and leaving a voicemail saying, "I'm not coming in because I got in way too late." And then I turned the TV on that morning. Actually, I'm sorry, I got a call from my sister, and she told me to turn the TV on. So I was at home in Weymouth.
Unbelievable. I was at work. We had a TV in the break room, and somebody was in there and saw it and came running into where we were working, and just said, "Listen, this is going on." So we all walked into the room. There was you could hear a pin drop in that room. There must have been about 30 of us standing around just watching, and it's like you could hear hearts beating. Everybody was it was amazing. It was just absolutely such a tragic day.
Well,
And I think
the sequel to my story would be obviously, the first thing you think of in a situation like that is your family, your loved ones. Where are they? Are they safe? My daughter, as I said, was down in Manhattan,
Yeah.
and she was actually filling up her Ford Taurus. That was her company car. She got hired as a pharmaceutical salesperson, and she was outside her car when the tower got knocked down. And just
Wow.
in the few minutes that she was there, with the wind blowing the way it was, she drove to a friend's house in Darien, Connecticut, and I saw the car a couple of days later, and it had an inch and a half of probably toxic dust and
Oh,
all kinds of stuff on it. That's how close she was. And then my
wow.
son was in high school at their academy, and his goalie, they were walking to class, and his goalie, who was of course a good friend of his on his team, saw the goalie's father standing at the head of the stairs, and he said, "Dad, what are you doing here?" And he goes, "Oh, there was a bad situation at your sister's place of business in New York."
Mhm.
He didn't unveil what was going on, and
Right.
sadly they never found her body to
Oh.
my knowledge as of now, and they planted a tree and had a memorial at the school, and that tree has gotten bigger and fuller, and it's a beautiful flowering
Wow.
tree.
Wow.
I'm sure there's 3,000 odd stories like that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. I remember the feeling after the whole thing went on, and the feeling of, the unity, the togetherness that everybody felt. I mean, you were driving down the street, and instead of flipping the guy off at the intersection, you were like, "Yeah, go ahead." So it was a different vibe. Unfortunately, that that vibe didn't truly last, because you look at what's going on in the world now. But it just shows that it can happen. Sometimes it takes tragedy to make that stuff happen, but we don't need tragedy to make that happen. We just need voices, and we need support. So
100%. By the way, do you like this hat?
I love that hat. Where did you get it?
It's not bad.
I got this from the CEO of Resistant to Silence.
Oh, I think that's me. I think that sounds like my
Well,
type.
I mentioned both. Just I don't know which one's which, but I mentioned both. So you both.
Yeah. I'm like the key grip on the show.
The
I'm like the coffee boy. I don't know.
Yeah, let me know if anyone
That's
wants
all
a
right.
hat. $20 for a hat. Let me know.
Great hats, great sweatshirts, great jerseys, t-shirts,
Thank
everything.
you. Thank you.
How'd you get that?
I did make out. Oh, we're all good. We're good. Okay. So do you want to go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to, before we start talking about Peter's presence at the State House the other day to try to pass that bill. He presented a testimony for it. And I want to show that video, if you don't mind, Peter.
Oh.
and also of the testimony of Jen Root, because they only had 3 minutes each. There were several speakers. I mean, we were there the whole day. There were several other things that people were testifying on, and it was just such an interesting day. I've never done that before, and I definitely want to be a part of more things, in the state as far as passing bills and that sort of. It was just crazy to watch if you've never been in there. But yeah, with no further ado, I just want to show you what a great job Peter did, and just
Thank you, Tracy.
thank you, Peter. Here we go. Sorry, that's Jen first. Sorry.
Members of the committee. I'm here because I'm in support of H1743, an act establishing medical civil rights. My name is Jennifer, and I'm here on behalf of my brother Justin Root, who was killed by police while in a mental health crisis. 2 years ago, I stood before you and I urged you to pass the Medical Civil Rights Act. And now here I am again. In February 2022, 2 years after my brother was killed, the legislators passed Nero's Law to guarantee emergency care for police dogs. Yet for over 5 years, the legislators have not passed the Medical Civil Rights Act to ensure that these same protections are for human beings as well. This is not only unconscionable, it is a moral failure to the highest order. Justin was 41 years old when 6 law enforcement officers shot him more than 30 times in Brookline on February 7, 2020. He was lying on the ground, he was covered in blood.
I'm totally screwing this up. I'm sorry.
Good afternoon, members of the committee. I'm here because I'm in support of H1743, an act establishing medical civil rights. My name is Jennifer, and I'm here on behalf of my brother Justin Root, who was killed by police while in a mental health crisis. 2 years ago, I stood before you and I urged you to pass the Medical Civil Rights Act. And now here I am again. In February 2022, 2 years after my brother was killed, the legislators passed Nero's Law to guarantee emergency care for police dogs. Yet for over 5 years, the legislators have not passed the Medical Civil Rights Act to ensure that these same protections are for human beings as well. This is not only unconscionable, it is a moral failure to the highest order. Justin was 41 years old when 6 law enforcement officers shot him more than 30 times in Brookline on February 7, 2020. He was lying on the ground, he was covered in blood, he was incapacitated with nothing in his hands, and he was unarmed. He lived with schizoid affective disorder, which caused manic episodes and delusions and paranoia. Like so many people with severe mental illness, he had agnosia, meaning he couldn't perceive that he had an illness. This left him vulnerable to danger, and too often that danger comes when medical emergencies are met with police force instead of emergency medical care. The initial incident that led to this egregious death took place only steps from Mass Mental Health, right next to one of the busiest Boston hospitals. He encountered a hospital security guard who later described him as nonsensical, paranoid, delusional, clearly in crisis. Justin never threatened him. He never brandished his large, clear plastic paintball marker. This interaction ended with a handshake, but no medical help was called. My brother was at a hospital and he needed to be hospitalized, and instead, he ended up, in his final moments, having over 50 bullet holes in his body in Brookline. Had this act been in law, EMS would have been called first. My brother's life could have been saved because his death was preventable. And Justin's story is not the only isolated tragedy, because most recently there was a woman in Brookline who was found unconscious in a police holding cell. When EMS finally arrived, she had only the faintest pulse, and they tried to revive her, but it was too late. Investigators are treating her death as a homicide, and she needed timely medical attention, not neglect in a cell. Her death was preventable. In Havel, a 43-year-old man died after 7 officers pinned him down, face down, outside of a restaurant. Witnesses heard him cry for help, saying he could not breathe before he became unresponsive. This is what we're talking about. I'm just asking you to not let another family endure what mine and many others have endured. Do not wait until one of your own loved ones is denied the medical care when they're so clearly in need of it. Do not fail us again. Pass this bill favorably. The question before you is simple. Will you save lives, or will you allow preventable deaths to continue? I also want to say that I'm in support of S1232, an act to study the delivery of medical care to persons held in custody. I also ask you to not pass H1992. That's where officers would have the chance to review their body-worn camera footage before an official statement. Absolutely not. I won't go down that road, but that is, there's already something on the books. It does not need to be changed, and I hope that you keep it that way. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Any questions from the committee? See none, thank you. Next we'll call up Valerie Copeland.
So that was Jen's testimony. I apologize. Peter's still getting uploaded as we speak. I thought I had both of them, but I only had one, but it should take only a couple more minutes. But what do you think, Peter? What are your comments or thoughts about Jen's testimony?
Well, I've been involved in Jen's case, for a couple of years now, as we all have, and it's certainly a very, very, very tragic case. It's something that, in my opinion, as a police officer, active police officer, sergeant, watch commander at a station, for 22 years as a sergeant, just training and experience was always, it was what they called a double tap, and you didn't shoot at anyone unless you had to. You didn't fire warning shots. You did not. And the theme or the reasoning and the protocol and the SOPs were to neutralize or stop an assailant, who would be threatening people with a firearm, or deadly force. You didn't shoot the person 31 times that was laying on the ground, who had actually, after they shot at him 15 times at the Brigham and Women's main access area, drive around, valet area, I believe. And he was also, as Jen just indicated on her video, that he was actually equidistant from the mass mental health buildings. And apparently, as she said, he actually shook hands with the security officer. The security officer in his later report said that the individual who was just on, her brother, the victim, I'm going to call him in this case, was delusional and, exhibiting some obvious signs. Not right was one of the words he described Justin as, not right. There should have been an intervention right then and there. You could call that a custodial intervention if you want, but I mean, there should have been somebody could have come out in scrubs, or that security guard with the right training could have said, hey, look, have you been in here before? Yeah, that's my mental health building over there. Oh, okay, you're suffering a crisis. Look at, it's kind of a lousy day. It's raining. You want a coffee? You know what I mean? And I see what you mentioned earlier. You can jump back on it. Apparently, the state police colonel has implemented some sort of new training rules.
Mm-hmm.
And I mention it when Tracy gets it uploaded. I mention it. There is nothing more critical than getting in-service training for all officers, no matter what their rank and file are, to be able to better assess and deal with mental health crisis, and not to necessarily, dust somebody off and send them on their way, but at least recognize it and get at least an EMT level of professional help, so that you don't end up with I can't breathe, or the Brookline case, or the Haverhill case, or George Floyd, or whatever.
Yep. No, exactly.
All right, I have your testimony all queued up here, so here we go.
All right.
retired police sergeant after 3 decades. As a sergeant in the department that I worked in, I was also the station commander and watch commander. So basically, all responsibility and decisions landed at my feet. I was basically the active chief for weekends, nights, in urgent and immediate emergency situations. I did not have the luxury to call a district attorney or a doctor. Things were happening quickly, and we only had 4 officers on the street. I respectfully come before you today in support of the bill S-1230 and H Bill 1743. I sit here, as I said, with over 3 decades of law enforcement training and experience, the last 22 years of which I served with rank of sergeant, officer in charge, and station commander, as I've mentioned. During my career as a police officer, I personally responded to several situations where firearms were possessed by individuals experiencing a medical and/or mental crisis. Tragically, not all those situations ended favorably. One particular incident took place during a prisoner transport to a local hospital by a lone officer. Again, staffing is always an issue, money is always the issue, and it's got to have a different mindset going forward. During the triage of this giant of an individual in custody at the hospital, the officer's revolver, a .357 Magnum, was wrestled from him, and a shot was fired that went through a triage door. Nobody was killed. Miraculously, no serious injuries resulted in that incident. However, the officer sustained hearing loss, permanent, as a result of the blast that occurred right next to his head. Sadly, I also was on a department that sustained or endured a suicide in a cell block by hanging. I submit that there is no substitute for continuing an extensive in-service behavioral crisis training of law enforcement officers, because they will certainly often be dealing with subjects in medical emergencies, behavioral, mental in nature. The mere communication by a subject in custody of the onset of an emergency medical condition of any nature must necessitate an immediate emergency medical service be called in. In closing, professional intervention must be mandated with this bill, and at the first sign of any medical or mental instability. No cost factor in staffing of personnel should ever be the determining factor in the duty to care. Any chief, colonel, or sheriff not supporting this bill, I can't understand why they wouldn't. I believe your committee passed a bill on a canine, canine dog care bill, and we have we have a Haverhill incident and a Brookline death in a cell recently. Thank you, respectfully.
Thank you, Sergeant Murphy. Yeah, we're definitely welcome that as well. I don't know if I'm going to submit that, but
But I can submit it or I can send it. You tell me what you'd like.
whatever's easy.
Okay.
Any questions? None?
Thank you folks very much.
Thank you.
Take care.
I now call Lenore Lewis.
Well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fantastic. The both of you did great. I mean, to get up there in that forum and to speak, I mean, it's, you know, for me, that would be super intimidating. I'd have a hard time sitting down in front of that, you know, that crew of anybody in speaking in that regard. But, you know, you guys both did a fantastic job. And I like the way that you set it up. You know, you established yourself, who you were, and you painted the picture. And you know, I think that adds a lot of, you know, a lot to it. So, yeah, well, great job.
Thanks. Thank you.
I also was surprised, just real quick, how like when the timer was going off and they allowed you to continue speaking. So I have like PTSD from the Canton Select Board meetings, but it was a more relaxed meeting environment, and I think they were very respectful and they listened. And there were a lot of Zoom calls. There was a lot of things going on, but I felt it was a very relaxed environment where you could testify and not be nervous. I don't know. I didn't do it. So what are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, fortunately, they didn't ban Cliff Notes or notes in your hand. I mean, you could read a narrative, which made it so much easier. I mean, obviously we all could have, or myself and Jen could have bullet pointed what we wanted to highlight on, but it just made it so much easier. And I had timed my narrative a couple of times to make sure I kept it under 3 minutes, because as you say, Tracy, we both have PTSD from the select board meetings in Canton. That buzzer goes off, and
They shut you right down.
they get the stun gun or the collar,
Yeah.
and you're done, and then they yell at you. So yeah, it was I think a more relaxed atmosphere. I think they professionally were a little bit more cognizant of the fact that they needed to listen, and that Jen presented the whole story magnificently, and she didn't really leave them a lot of wiggle room, but she was professional, she was polite, as were pretty much all the speakers. I mean, some of the people or speakers of victims that came in on Zoom, parents of lost loved ones, they had difficulty keeping it together, and you can certainly understand why. But they never maligned or went after the joint committee for not passing this bill in all these years,
Right.
which I think is we can agree to disagree, or we can agree to talk more about it, and that's what the other day was about.
Yeah, I think it's really horrifying. I watched the whole thing. I mean, I was working from home. I went live. I was able to find the stream and just let it play. But I really paid attention, and it's really horrifying to think that so many people went before that board and had, lack of a better term, horror stories to tell, to speak their truth.
Correct.
And that's a reality. And that was 3 hours.
Correct.
They do that every single day, day after day. And I mean, the stories that must go on in there, like I can't even fathom how insane that must be. There's a lot going on, and for people to be blind like they are about what's happening in the state or in the country, it's really eye-opening for sure.
Well, like Tracy said a moment ago, Dana, she said that that it was an eye opener for her, and I have to plead ignorance. I had never gone in there to even sit as a attendee. I found it, the judiciary side, obviously particularly pertinent to what I went through in my career. And Tracy, you and I can carpool, and I'll buy lunch, because I'm going to go in there every time there's a judiciary hearing that I can get in there. Traffic was a nightmare, but
I'll drive. You buy lunch, I'll drive.
Say that's right. And there were 50. I counted on I guess the letterhead. There were 55 bills, I believe, that they were looking at, between ankle bracelets and officer cash, officer cameras before they write a report, and wiretap. There were victims that spoke about the fact that they either wiretapped or videoed domestic violence of children, and yet they were charged with a felony. I mean, are you kidding?
Yeah.
And these people were being battered themselves as wives and mothers. I mean, we've got a lot of work to do in this state.
Yeah, the stories are they're incredible to hear.
And and this is not the first time that some of these families have testified, including Jen.
Yeah.
Including Jen. Do you imagine being up there, going every year to make these people see that this bill is important and it will save lives? Sorry, Dan, I didn't.
No, that's totally fine. No, it's a great point. It's really, it is. It's very eye-opening. I think that, seeing something like that happen, it really kind of, it was like the first time I heard about Justin's case when we had Jen on, and she talked about it. I literally, when we got there, I remember looking at you after that show, and I was like, oh my God, it took me days to digest, even still to this day, how did that happen? How does something like that occur?
Right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I guess maybe I'm jumping ahead of what the rest of your evening is programmed to talk about, but we've done a number of standouts, and you've been very, very, participatory in them. At Shawmut Road, at Michael Morrissey, DA Michael Morrissey, Norfolk County. his office, and you said, how does something like that happen? And I'm going to do a deep dive into his case and read every single report that's out there, and I'll even make calls to officers that might have retired since and have nothing to lose by speaking out. 31 shots after 15 fired at the hospital, several of which apparently struck vital arteries in his leg, which was causing him to bleed out. And then an EMT sees him stumble out of the car. I think they did a pit maneuver, which means they spun the car out. Jen told me that she and her family never recovered one of the wheels, rubber wheel and rim, and she suspected that there were bullet holes in it, which is absolutely unacceptable police practice. You do not shoot at the wheels of a car.
Right.
So, how does, in the city of Brookline, how do you lose part of the crime scene?
Right.
How do you misplace it? Ask Canton police. They'll tell you.
Yeah, right,
I'm sure it was
exactly.
no accident.
Yeah, jeez.
Unbelievable.
And then, she even indicated that I guess one of the officers went over and physically kicked Justin to see if he was alive or what was going on. And that's when the caregiver, EMT, I don't know if she was an EMT. I believe she had certainly some medical training experience, and she was told to get the hell out of there. And within a close proximity of 6 to 10 feet, I guess from what Jenna said, and she's got all the documents, they unloaded 31 rounds. And supposedly even one of the guns that was, or one of the shell casings that was later found, was a 45, which no officer at that scene was authorized to carry. So somebody appears to have been carrying an unauthorized firearm.
Wow.
So, I mean, again, just the music plays on, and when, everybody screws up, find a chair. But Morrissey, a fish rots from the head down, guys, and you got to point the finger at him for all of these bad outcomes.
Yep, absolutely. I totally agree. I mean,
And look at where he is right now. And I know I'm probably scrambling your outline, but
no,
No,
right
good.
ahead.
Yep.
look at where he is with the Sandra Birchmore case. I mean, he brings Fanning in to his unit in the DA's office as an investigative officer who worked, ironically, in the Stoughton Police Department with the same perpetrators that groomed and did all the dastardly deeds to Sandra.
Right.
Morrissey brings this guy in. That's like bringing Proctor in and seeing pictures of Proctor at the wedding table with the McAlberts. And I mean,
Right.
but no problem. No, they're there. And Fanning comes in and, he investigates the case and says it's a suicide. There's a necklace, I guess, which is broken and on the ground next to the cell phone, which the family found, not the investigators. But what's going on? I mean, police work 101. Are you kidding me? Or is this all, like I said about the Canton case, it was so badly investigated, it had to be intentional. And when I went with the Las Vegas cops, they did the same thing. It's so horrific, the investigation in Canton, it had to be intentional. Nobody could have been that inept in an investigation who had already been to a police academy, never mind the level of supposedly rank and file that were there with leaf blowers, solo cups, and trash bags.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They knew. Yeah. Yep.
It's disgusting. It truly is, But again, this whole situation, I mean, the Jeffrey Noble was sworn in last October. And, I mean, what's your thought on him? He seems like he's attempting to make things happen, but I don't trust his motives. I don't know why he's doing what he's doing. Like, this sounds great. Let's instate this policy where, again, people that are having crises or mental health issues, that, they get the help they need instead of, this, lack of a better term, shoot first, ask questions later mentality. But I mean, do you think he's trying to do the right thing by coming in and taking over, or I don't know. I'm not sure if I trust him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the jury's still out on what he's up to. In my
Yeah.
opinion, I mean, I guess I've heard some positive feedback about him and his other job. We come from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then I've heard some questionable stuff, but I haven't seen receipts on either of the negatives or positives, Dana. So I'll give him a pass on that.
Right.
As far as what he's doing now in a time, and in this timeline as the colonel, I don't know. He's been sort of a non-player, non-committal. I think a guy coming into that situation with all the horrific controversy that's shadowed and clouded the state police of late, he should be doing a weekly press conference, for Christ's sake, saying
Right.
what he's done, what he's implemented, like this new training for his troopers. We're still dealing with Delgado,
Right.
Enrique. It'll
Yeah.
be here. What, this week? Next week?
This a couple days, the 13th.
It'll be a year. And
Yep.
what do we know about it? You tell me. Have I missed something?
Yeah.
I don't
know.
I don't know any more than I knew I knew more with reports that were leaking from probably recruits and cadets that were in the academy than I know now. It's gone crickets.
Yeah, it's true. Again, a year for that poor family without any kind of update period. What they do? They updated the training program, and that's supposed to make them feel better about things. I don't feel any better about it. It's horrifying.
I mean, you were in a police facility, supposedly a respectable police facility. I'm sure there were other recruits that were witnessing the boxing match or whatever kind of match you want to call that. I've heard there was no boxing ring. What's his name? Todd McGee, the retired state trooper, has come on platforms before and said
Yep.
he reinstituted the boxing self-defense, but it was in a controlled environment and no skilled boxers could come in against, untrained recruits, and nobody was supposed to get hurt. And I haven't read the autopsy report, but from what I heard, Enrique had some very, very controversial injuries that should not have ever been sustained in a controlled environment in a boxing arena.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure. And whatever this new training program they have, I haven't seen anything, or nothing's been that I'm aware made publicly known
Yeah.
or posted anywhere. So
Right. Hey, on a side note, I am drinking bottled water. It's clear, but it is water, and I can tell you, it's not something left over from the parking lot at the town hall when poor Ann Jones was accused of serving shots to the people that were going to go in and be present in that room. Rocco Camerata, you missed it, pal. You missed it. Yeah.
what an
Too
idiot
bad.
that guy is.
It was
I love
ginger,
Annie.
it was ginger root, and this is water, Rocco. You get it?
Right.
I love how Annie got up after that and was like, "Yeah, those were ginger
Yeah, what are you
shots.
talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not drinking in the parking lot."
Yeah.
Thank
She
you.
killed it. She killed it. Rocco left with his tail between his legs.
Yeah.
And she even offered the select board to participate in a ginger shot, and they all, no, I don't think so. We're all set.
Yeah.
Yeah. God forbid you try to be healthy, right?
Yeah.
I'll tell you though, those things I've drank liquor that's been easier to drink than some of those ginger shots, but woo, I'll tell you.
Dylan
Yeah.
still has them every single day, I think. Yeah.
Who does?
Yeah. Dylan.
Dylan.
I think Dylan is still on them. I think Dennis and maybe Brenda still are. I know I will imbibe in them, but I mix them with usually a celery or some other type of probiotic. I can't do those. No, can't do
Yeah.
it. Not
I
gonna.
did it one time and I was like,
I
it was
never-
at Legacy Place. I was like, oh my God, what did I just do?
I've seen good friends of Annie run to the bushes
Yeah.
It doesn't end well.
No. It took my breath away. I was like, what the heck is going on? I didn't understand.
But she's got amazing, data and history on those products because of, who she worked with for 7 or so years. And it does. I mean, I know for a fact, just taking the ginger root and the wheatgrass,
Yep.
I lost 10 pounds. I did a cleanse, and my blood pressure came down 12 or 15 points. So it's worthy of looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I considered it. I definitely considered it. I probably should do it. Actually, it'd probably be great for me.
If you can handle that one, then it's gonna get easier, right? I don't know. I would like
I think I did a double.
like Scott said, I was too afraid to even do it.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm good.
Well, even collectively, if both of you wanted to go on a cleanse, which basically is, I think, a minimum of 4 days, they give you a menu and you just follow it. You have this for breakfast, you have this for lunch, you have this in between breakfast and lunch. And I'll tell you, I didn't put you can have a salad too at the end of the day. I didn't put anything other than what they had prescribed in the cleanse tonics, and maybe a salad. And like I said, I lost 10 pounds in a week, and my blood pressure went down, and I was never hungry.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the crazy part.
Wow, Dana.
Maybe I should get after it.
You, because of the products that are in these smoothies and so forth that you're drinking, these green lights, or whatever you want to call them, as far as the 12, 16 ounce portions, they detoxify you. I mean, I can honestly say I really felt good after that 4-day cleanse.
I'll tell you, even though the one ginger shot I did that day, I mean, I literally, once it settled and got into I actually felt good. I felt great for the rest of the day.
Well, I was always usually in the not too distant area of what was going on, and everybody would start running towards her freezer bag, so I knew what was coming next. And I would say to everybody, I'd say, look at this stuff, it works, it's valuable, I encourage you to do it, but I said, can I suggest that you really go easy at the outset and maybe try to keep it away, because the part, as you probably remember, the part that burned the most were your lips, which would be probably the most sensitive part of your GI tract. But if you could keep it off your lips, you were ahead of the game.
Yeah, my shots typically don't hit my lips. They hit the back of my throat right away. It's like
is that what you call throwing them back?
Trained professional.
Oh, that's great.
But yeah. So I do actually. Can we show I want to show the one picture from the State House too, because the group that showed up, the crew that was there.
Great crew. Great crew.
Yeah. So I mean, great crew. I love it. I love what Tracy went live, and I love the preparation. Jen's speech out on the street, engaging the passersby. You were diligently working on the bench. Did you write that whole speech while you were out there on the bench, or did you start working on it the day before or days before?
I'd started it days before, and then I rewrote it, and then, as I said, I kept going back to a 3-minute timeline, so I had to cut it and crop it, and but then there was still notes that I was making. I was rereading it, and I had thoughts, and tried to add some stuff. So that's what you saw me doing on the bench. But I was working from a completed narrative that took the whole 8.5 by 11.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Did you call Brenda Sweeney for any pointers, or she knows how to get that 3 minutes in every word?
Brenda is absolutely amazing, and I give her the utmost of credit for everything she has done for this movement. Rain, sleet, snow, cold, and her select board narratives are just to the point and leaves no stone unturned. She tells it like it is, and I I wish she had 30 minutes and not 3, and I wish it was once a week and not twice
Yeah.
a week, twice
Yeah.
once every 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree.
Nobody
Yeah,
has to go against her anymore. You know, if she used to have some rivalry, they don't even show up. They stay home.
she is. She's a powerhouse. It's funny, is her first she'd got up and spoken before in front of the board, but her first speech that she had actually prepared was during Zoom. Was her first one that she really truly spoke out. And my God, you see where she's come from there until now. It's night and day.
Well, she obviously, for what she does, for the receipts she brings into those reports, I've called Dennis numerous. I usually end up talking to him once a day. But there's many times I've called him and I'll say, "Where's Brenda? What's she up to?" "Oh, cool, boy, don't talk to Brenda. Don't disturb her. She's writing a report for Tuesday's, select board." "Oh, I know better." He goes, "I got to take the dog for a walk. I got to get out of here."
That's great.
I mean, if you ask me, 3 minutes is a long time. So, you get it all done.
It's like Julie says,
Yep.
3 minutes is hard. Just ask my husband.
See?
Yeah.
Julie?
What I'm talking about. But yeah, bouncing forward. So I wanted to, again, speaking of Brenda, so I kind of want to get into the town of Canton. Where we're at now, where we've come from. There's been so much that's gone on in the town, and the healing is, trying to begin, and there's changes that are being made. The select board members, been kind of shuffled around, and Trish and Sue joining along, getting in there, and Theodore and John gone now. It's just I think it's a step in the right direction. I guess before we go to that, but I wanted to ask you about the interim chief, Perkins. So I think that's kind of where, Rafferty was such a huge, pivot point in that whole debacle. So, I mean, this guy comes in, he's a retired Middleborough chief. And his record seems to speak okay for itself. But I mean, what's your take on the interim chief and what he's doing?
I think, my opinion, and I have a few receipts to base this comment on. I think he's come into a shooting gallery, an alligator pit, a snake pit, and I think he's done a tremendous job. He made himself available. I've heard from many people that have called and gotten to speak to him, or if he was on the phone or in a meeting, they call the people right back. Case in point would be Eric DiGirolamo on that Rafferty debacle when the press had that Eric was being arrested and charged criminally. Standing out, with Rich Schiffer. He got right back to Eric, told him, "No, there's no charges pending. You can go to the bank with it. This is the chief.
Really?
You're good. You're okay." Within the first week, I believe, that he was there after she retired, he took all the dark membrane off the glass when you walk into the control room area, the waiting area. And Rafferty had put up this one-way glass. So you'd walk in and you'd hear a voice, but you couldn't see through. That's how dark it was.
Yeah.
Right away, you talk about transparency. He peeled that all off, and I could see through the window as good as I can see you and Tracy.
Wow, no kidding.
I mean, that speaks volume, because throughout the whole debacle of getting votes for the new selectman in place, whether it was Trish or Susan Harrington, there were key points that kept coming up: transparency, truth, accountability, unbiased, de-weaponized policing. In other words, you can't have Chris Albert calling Mello at home and telling him to call Joe Silvestri to go charge the Canton Nine up in the corner who was standing there peacefully with signs. And Mello did that many times. And as we know, Canton Nine, they were jammed up for a year. Some of them were almost in jeopardy of losing their Canton housing because they had that charge lodged against him. You had Richie Schiffer with the Ducks.
Yep.
He spent 6 months. I'd love to know the price tag on all the money they spent. Warrants, this, that, reports, 6 months for rubber ducks. And I sat in the courtroom that day when the judge listened to the case from the prosecutor, from Morrissey's, assistant DA, and he laughed. He said, "Wait a minute." I sat it and I watched. So how many yards were these little 2-inch rubber ducks or plastic ducks strewn in the center of town? And I think if the answer was, "Well, Your Honor, it was like only in front of D&E Pizza," then that might have had an impact. But the answer was by the prosecutor, "Oh, Your Honor, they were up and down the center of town for a couple 100 yards." And so he goes, "A couple 100 yards?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Not guilty. Boom,
Right.
dismissed. See you later." And he wrote an 8.5 by 11 commentary, and he absolutely chastised the Canton police for bringing those charges and doing that prosecution. I mean, it's there. You can look it up. It was
Really.
a mockery of what the Canton police did. So and again, I have I have other the chief the other day. I guess Susan made the comment, Harrington, that she had done a ride along with the chief.
Oh wow, yeah.
Done a ride along. I think it was a Friday night. The chief took her at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night, and they went around and answered calls. And he followed the calls as they were broadcast out to the cruisers from dispatch, and showed her what was going on in the town. Showed her, response times of cruises, and we all remember the debacle when Aiden was uptown walking into C.F. McCarthy's with Meredith, and he got accosted and eventually assaulted by Jill Daniels.
Right.
Knocked the phone out of his hand. It took 17 minutes. A friend of mine had me on the phone broadcasting what was going on. It took 17 minutes for the first cruises to respond to a center of town that, other than one area of town, shouldn't have been more than a minute and a half away with blue lights and a siren. 17
Right.
minutes. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's so unbelievable.
And
Yeah,
I would also add too, just on another note, that there was an incident a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if I should mention the gentleman's name. You would know who it is.
Yeah, you have to mention. It's all good.
But yeah, it's it's public record. But
Yep.
this individual would tell you, he is a defendant, that in this case, that he had been harassed and called derogatory names and racial slurs and so forth for a number of years.
Yeah.
I think you know who I'm talking about.
I do. Yep.
Okay, and he got in. He supposedly would claim or tell you that in the reports that there were instances where somebody tried to run him off the road, and he got into a skirmish with that other individual. And both of the point of my story is the chief saw to it that both individuals had cross complaints brought against them. The police officer has to go to court for what he did, and the other defendant has to go to court for an assault and battery, I believe. So, there's no, as I said, there's no weaponizing, one-way weaponizing, which everybody in the town had told me, "What are you getting involved in this case for? It's a one-sided closed book, and it's going to come back at you." I said, "Well, I can't sleep at night. I'm coming in hot." But again, I can't. Let me see. I had made some notes that on Chief Perkins. I would say in closing, everything is positive that I've heard. He cleared the glass. He did the ride along. Cross complaints against not only a civilian but a police officer. And I believe in a conversation I had with him, he indicated his theory is protect the weak from the strong, and people helping people and de-weaponizing the mindset that's existed in that town for some time.
Yeah, I think, so based upon your experience, I mean, what does the town need? The town needs, this guy's the interim chief, right? So they're gonna be looking for somebody. What do they need? How do they do? Do they need someone exactly like this guy Perkins to make things work, or is it do they need more? Obviously, they need cooperation from the select board, and they need to get a couple people off of there as well. That's definitely a critical piece.
Yep, yep. No, to answer your question, I think as I've just indicated to you, firsthand knowledge that I have, and comments from other people that have called and gotten very positive, immediate action through him. Um, I think he's doing a great job. I wish he could stay more than 6 months. Maybe we can talk him into that. I don't know.
Right.
Know how long it's going to take for the town to convince themselves they found the right chief. I believe they're having a meeting, an open forum on September 27th, where they're welcoming people to come in and actually make statements. I don't know if they're timed, if it's like the yes board meeting or what, but they're looking for input from the community as to what they would like to see from the selection of 6 or 8 candidates that they get for chief, and I'm sure input going in, and input out will help narrow down the scope of who they want to bring in. I can personally say, having lived in that town for 40 years since I was 12, that there is a good old boy network there. And as Dave Yannetti told me once on the phone, he has never, ever, ever, ever practiced law or been a prosecutor in a more incestuous town than Canton. He said every single person is related to somebody else.
Yep.
And I can speak to that. It's just when you think you might have an unbiased listener or a spokesperson, you find out the who's who.
No,
And
right.
I think for Canton to heal itself, not only do they have to get to the truth of who killed John O'Keefe, but they also have to get rid of this good old boy network that's been in place. And we've started to do that, as you just indicated. They've moved Conley out of there and Theodore, and I think we can thin the herd a little bit more and bring in some new people. And I to answer your question, I guess firmly is they had an audit, as you well know. They had a huge turnout to get the audit vote. It absolutely caught everybody flat-footed on the other side. They never, Bob McCarthy, and the rest of them never thought that there was enough juice on the opposition side to bring in a vote for an audit, and we got the audit. And there was intimidation. They strategically put people in place in the 3 different venues within the high school, and the cafeteria and the gymnasium, so that there'd be faces glaring at you. And I was not there, but I heard a lot of stories about it. And I think that the audit was a joke. I know firsthand that there were things that the audit never even talked about or reduced to writing, post-commission issues, stuff like that. And my opinion, and we've had discussions with some other people in the town, I think the town hall needs an audit. Maybe they ought to put that on a docket and bring that forward, because half the problem, or there was certainly, in my opinion, a problem with the police department. And I think there's problems throughout the town. It starts at 801 Washington Street, Town Hall.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think a lot of people in town would be in complete agreement as well. There's a lot of changes that need to be made. And that's, again, it's why the standouts are so super important. I know you've been they've been downtown over trying to get Chris to resign. That's been happening on Washington Street. You've also indicated that you're trying to get back into potentially doing the CPD on a semi-regular. Is that true? Is that what's going on? And if you need help with that, please let us know.
Um, yeah, I can. I'll always ask for help. There's strength in numbers. But yeah, I did a standout last Friday. Last Friday, there was a contingent of a dozen or 18 people that went around, and to her credit, Susan Harrington was one of them. She went on the trash pickup with
Oh,
Oh
with,
yeah.
with John Camo and Eric and Chronicle crew, Dennis, Brenda, Schiffer, and it was nasty. I mean, they didn't have a dump truck; they had two trucks, so they had to physically pull the bags out of the recycling bins. Which, of course, if they'd been there for 2 weeks, it wasn't pleasant. Then they had to toss them up into the back of the truck. Then in the back of the truck, they had to hand them off or get them out, and the bags were ripping open, and
Ugh.
literally there were maggots on some of these very, very dedicated people who tried to help the senior citizens of Canton who couldn't get the rubbish either in their vehicle or lift the bag because it was too heavy. They were targeting, helping the citizens, the senior citizens, and I guess it ended up that they had enough room in the trucks and time to just go up and down some streets and do a blanket, recovery of trash. So to their credit, they did a great job, and I, you know, I give them lots of credit for that. I lost my track, Dana. What was it that I was going to? Where was I going with this? What was the question?
CPD standouts and
Oh, yes, always can use help. So Friday, I did the CPD standout with another person. There were two of us, and then I said there were 18 or so from the usual D&E standout that jumped on the trash brigade.
yeah.
And, we were there for 2 hours. We were there from 11:30 to 1:30, which is probably going to be the hours that we're going to be there, so we can get that information out. And it's right in front of the police station. You can park on the side street, right across from the police
Don't
station.
park at the church, right?
Oh no, that church in the backdrop, that's private property. No trespassing on church property. God must be rolling over upstairs, saying, "What the hell is going on down there?" Yeah, so I can speak personally. I will be there every single Friday. I mean, if somebody's going to hold equal time down at D&E and accomplish that mission or goal, to have Chris resign, that's fine. We
Yeah.
can hold. We actually on Friday up at Canton PD, myself and the other volunteer that was with me, a wonderful, dedicated person to this whole movement. Uh, she was there a couple of months before. Frequently she was there, but she had a sign in her hand that said Chris Albert resign with a thumbs down hand drawing on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's standing there beside me with that. Well, there is an Albert family member that lives across the street, and he decided he'd come across and see why we were there. So he postured, he talked to us for an hour, and it was comments like, "What are you doing? There was an audit. There was no corruption. What the hell are you doing here?" He disseminated quite a bit of information, which I'm sure wasn't really well received by the family. Finally, his another family member came over and got the hook and brought him back across the street. But yeah, it was an interesting dialogue, and I got to ask myself, and I'd ask you, folks. We've been standing out in front of that police station for a while, right?
Yeah.
We did one. I think the first standout we did was way back in December of 23, when we had the big frame signs, and we parked in the parking lot at the Pequot Side Farm. And
Yeah, that was the Canton 9 standout.
yes.
Yep.
And there was a big number there. I mean, a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I did a security watch in the parking lot, myself and Kathleen Howley, because I foresaw an opportunity to have some real problems there. But, since then, there's been a lot of standouts there. And I think my opinion is this, Dana and Tracy, if the whole Karen Reed debacle started sometime after 12:30 or 12:40 a.m. on the 29th.
Mm-hmm.
I would maintain that calls went out, and I'm pretty sure the feds probably have all of this. That calls went out from that house. Higgins showed up at the police station. We've all seen that video at approximately 1:20.
Yep.
He was doing some kind of razzle dazzle and hide the ball between vehicles and carried a bag away. Still don't know what that was all about.
Yep.
And I think that the whole thing just reeks of problems. And the case was such a debacle that in order to get justice, we got justice for Karen. 2 juror pools found her innocent. Thank God. And I was
Yep.
there that day, standing with the crowd, and when we heard and saw it live stream, not guilty, not guilty. I mean, I have never been so exhilarated in my life, and I can tell you, I had tears rolling down my cheeks, especially
I
with the
think we all
people
did.
that I was standing with. Exactly. And it just goes, it speaks volumes to what people can do, and how 2 juror pools could not have gotten it wrong together collectively.
Right. Right.
She is innocent. She's factually innocent. She didn't hit him. A car didn't hit him. He was not hit by a car. The Fed spent $500,000 with ARCA to prove that. So the next question, number 2, who did it? Who?
Right.
Right.
Who did it? So if we're going to get justice for John O'Keefe, which is our movement thread now, the only way we're going to get that is to pick up the pieces that started sometime after 12:40 a.m. on that morning, and we're going to put it all together, and we're going to be there in numbers, and we are going to get justice for John. And
Right.
I still maintain the feds are going to come in hot, and they're going to take people in uniform, perhaps. You're going to see people in uniform or detectives' clothes brought out of that station. My opinion, no receipts. The feds wouldn't call me and tell me what they're doing, but
Sure.
that's just my opinion. I think it's going to happen.
Well, I hope you're right, Peter. I really do. I mean, someone needs to be held accountable, and then, like you say, the fish rods from the head down. So it's I think that if the feds came in right now, I mean, it could be. Look at what happened with Sandra. Well, how long after did they go after Falwell?
Mhm.
It was years.
Yes.
So this very well could be the same situation, but that they've caught on to so much different information for all these different cases that are all linked together. They're no pun intended, bigger fish to fry. They're going in there to get things done. They're gonna go after some big dogs, and that's just how it's gonna have to be. They know who did it. They know who was in the house at the very least. And I think there's a lot of people that were there that maybe stating that they weren't.
No, I agree. I think the feds have it all, and I think they were already working a corruption case before. It could have been back as far as Senator Brian Joyce's case, who was a big Quincy Morrissey, O'Connell, Bellotti connection. Quincy is a story of another time. We can do a show on Quincy someday, and I mean,
Right.
your hair stand up. But I just think that there's a lot coming out, and as recently as I'm going to say 3 weeks ago. Don't hold me to 3 weeks. It could be 4 weeks, but no more. A very, very solid source came to me, called me, and said, Peter, a good friend of mine, brother, was interviewed by the feds last Thursday at a coffee shop. 2 female agents interviewed him. He had some kind of a relationship with Sandra at one point before her death. And I don't know any more than that. I'm trying to get more information. I hope to get it. But the point of my story is 2 female agents, 4 years after the case, are still following the rings in the pond from the stone that landed, and they're working the case still. We heard Brennan and Rafferty posture that the case was closed, or all cases were closed, and nothing's going to happen. Well, the $500,000 ARCA stuff, and now we've got verification that they're working the Sandra Birchmore witness or connection. And the comment was, these agents were nasty,
Oh,
and it appeared they had all the answers to the questions they were asking. Sounds familiar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very telling.
one step ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is this a trick question? No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Again, they move at their own pace, and I'm still a firm believer that something's going to happen. And when it does, it's going to be amazing. It's sad to think that, we're going to witness so much chaos between now and then. They're running, like Jen Root said earlier. I mean, they're running rogue. They're just doing what they want to do. Like, you stating that there was, potentially a 45 at Justin's, murder.
Yep.
And that's not what those officers carry. I mean, that's the definition of rogue, right? I mean, for the love of God.
Yep.
So,
Yeah. The rules and regs will say shall not. There's no variation there. Shall not do this. Shall not do that. Shall not
Right.
shoot at a moving car. Shall not shoot at a windshield or a tire. Shall not carry a gun not proficient in, certified and qualified at a range and approved by the colonel or the chief or the sheriff. I mean, the four corners of that page, Dana, are very narrow. If somebody
Right.
showed up there with an unauthorized firearm and discharged it and maybe wounded, or even worse, was one of the fatal shots, boy, oh boy, that's a world of hurt for that officer. And yet,
right.
Morrissey still has his heels dug in on Birchmore being a suicide, even though they've arrested, the feds have come in and arrested somebody. He's still sticking with it's a suicide. Are you kidding me? How do you do that? How do you do that?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
No.
I will say this, Dana, and I have the video, and I know you've played it. I called you on that Sunday that we found out, I think it was a Sunday, the day of the parade, Quincy Parade Day.
Yeah.
And I called you, and I want everybody to hear this loud and clear. I called Dana at 11:30 or 12, and I said, hey, Dana, I know it's short notice, but we just got word that Momo Morrissey will be trotting down the main streets of Quincy with this big parade, like 400th anniversary or whatever the Christ it was for Quincy.
Yep.
You said, geez, I'm in the middle of doing something here, but the rain kind of chased me in. I'll tell you what, I'll be there in less than an hour. And was probably maybe 24 of us there. And who shows up? Yep, resistant to silence, Dana. And, yeah, that was just a tremendous effort and commitment on your part to continue to try to bring justice to this whole movement. And thank you for doing that.
No, I appreciate it. I mean, it's not every day that, I mean, we have always said all along is everybody can only do what they can do. Some time is, not everybody has time to do everything. So when I had the moment at that time, you caught me at a good moment. Had it been a better day and the weather wasn't shitty, I may have been on the fence, but I stand by my decision. That was a very good day, with the exception of going live and being on mute when I was young.
Yeah, don't forget that.
Yeah, I know. I won't let myself live that one down.
That's all right.
I couldn't believe it.
It happens to the best of us.
I was literally following him down the street, yelling to him and saying, I don't even remember what the heck I was saying, but yelling to some of the other politicians, say, hey, how are you walking with this guy? And
Yeah. Maybe it's a good. Maybe God put it on mute. Maybe it's a good.
Yeah. Yeah, you were coming back from New Hampshire. You're like, he's on mute. Like, what the hell is going on?
Things happen for a reason.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of, we kind of bounced around, but this one's really, important to us as well. And not that anything else is less important, but the David Finnerty case. I wanted to kind of touch base and pick your brain on that. I know the fundraiser went on. You were there for that. You actually got to meet David and had some conversations with him, and I think had some subsequent conversations with him as well. So I'll let you actually kind of talk, say what you need to say.
Well,
This is your,
well, yeah, well, it's ours.
what's your it's your, you've known the Finnerty family for a long time.
I have. I've been in touch with Jen, almost at least on a weekly basis, if not every day. But I do just want to remind everybody that David's sentencing is on the 22nd at 11 a.m. at the Moakley building. I know a lot of people are planning on going. I also know that Karen's her pretrial hearings for her civil trial are in Plymouth that day, but it's at 2 p.m. So I'm going to try to double up that day.
We can commute. We can ride together, Tracy.
Awesome.
And I'll buy lunch. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Oh, wait, I'm coming too.
Oh, wait.
Okay.
Dana
All
can
right.
get his own ride.
All right.
Dana can Uber.
We got it covered. We'll get there. No, I had forgotten about Karen's start of her civil at 2 p.m. in Plymouth, but yeah, I think we might be able to make that.
I think so too.
We'll
Hopefully,
I'll just call somebody for like state police for a state police escort to get us there.
there you go.
Yeah,
I'm
perfect.
sure they'd be more than willing to get me down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That'd be no problem.
They might leave me in the courthouse, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there, but I do know that you have been speaking with them and trying to dig into the case a little bit. And I know that Mary's been sending you a couple documents to review. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts other than the obvious that he didn't do this?
Well, yeah, that's basically it. I mean, it's a full stop right there. I mean,
Yeah.
I have no part of my training and experience for over 3 decades that do I feel that he's guilty of any of the charges that have been lodged against him. And the state dismissed the charge, and then I think he got caught. You tell me if I'm wrong. You probably know more than I do because I haven't done a deep dive into it. I've tried to call some people that were with the transit police over the years as patrol supervisors, sergeants, and now still are within the judicial system. But I haven't been able to connect with them and get some good receipts from them. But it sounds like, am I right, that the summation would be he got jammed up in a crossfire of political nonsense.
Yeah, for sure.
At the federal level, and it's pretty much a scapegoat.
Yep.
Is there any other way to explain it other than that?
I mean, it's yeah. I mean, the charges were dropped on the state level, and then through some sort of political agenda, and pinning
Yeah.
an innocent man for something that other officers were responsible for and did.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
just it's another story and another family. I mean,
Yep.
David was found guilty. There was no mistrial. There's no coming back from that. So
Right.
all we're praying for really is a good outcome as far as the sentencing goes. And I don't even know what that means. I don't even know what a good outcome for a sentencing is. I just know that, Dave's got 2 little girls. He's got an older daughter, and their family is they're suffering, and they just don't deserve it. They just don't deserve it. So, I mean, whatever support we can give them. I know I'm always preaching, but they really, really appreciate it. And it's up to us to get out there and demand answers and accountability. And, so.
Right. I mean, I don't know. I came to the game late because I really wasn't aware of his case until I saw the fundraiser, which you guys were backing, and ended up down at what was the name of the barbecue place? Anyway,
What was the name of that?
Rainham.
Two jerks.
Yeah. And it was a tremendous showing there, and great people to talk to. I met him, his wife. I met his dad. Saw you guys there. There was a big contingent from the Kevin Reed group. And I read the litany of things that were posted on what would you call that? An easel, I guess, or a cork board or something. And
Yep.
I read it all, and I talked to him and looked him in the eye, and I looked his wife in the eye, and I heard a synopsis of the story. And I said, well, in all the years that I dealt with people, I don't see that either of these 2 people are telling me anything other than the truth. So, that's where I started with that story. And then I looked into the political backstory, and, I don't know what could be done right now time wise. I don't want to hear about an innocent person being sentenced. My fear or theory was, if you did the crime, you did the time. If you didn't do the crime, then get the hell out of there and don't be charged and don't be sentenced. So,
Right.
what can happen here? Is this part of a bigger picture that maybe the feds have looked at? I hope they have. I hope they're looking at it. Are they going to wait and see if he gets sentenced and then come in and start locking people up and say, no, you did the wrong thing. There's corruption here. He's not going to jail. He didn't get sentenced. The whole system is faulty. I don't know, but I'm not happy with the fact that we have until the 22nd to try to get a stay on this. I mean, maybe it can happen. Maybe Leah Foley will come in and put a stay on it. I don't know. Boy, I'll use every resource I have to try to figure out what the turnkey will be to save him from getting falsely sentenced.
Thank you, Peter. That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely appreciate that. He's like you say, perfect word. I mean, he is a scapegoat. I mean, they basically, they did what they did, and they had somebody had to take a fall with it, and it wasn't going to be what's his name, Dorset. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I have it down.
In my notes.
I have it in my notes somewhere.
Wasn't that his last name? No, Dorset. Whatever.
Yeah. Anyway.
Useless. Anyway. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't. I have my old notes. I gotta transfer.
Well, again, I think if we look at the big picture here in the judicial system in Massachusetts, it seems like all these cases have overlaps of people and players, and you just wonder who knows what and who's holding a black book or a notebook over somebody's head so that somebody else gets framed.
Right. Yeah, exactly. This Mary, yeah, Bartlett.
Thank you. Dorset Bartlett. Thank you, Mary.
I was thinking like Tony Dorsett.
It's all right.
Aging myself a little bit. It's all good. Can't do that, is right?
Yeah. Anywho. Okay. What else? What else do we want to cover with Peter while we have him?
Well, Peter, I could go all night with you.
I know, right?
I have all kinds of questions and whatnot, but I mean, it's just, there's so much going on right now, and when I got approached at Legacy Place a handful of weeks back, someone basically said to me, similar to what, why are you guys here, right? Why are you still going? She was found innocent, and it's over. You have nothing to do. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? This is phase 2. It's a new beginning. We're starting over with finding out who actually killed John O'Keefe, and we got to press forward. That's all we can do.
And we will. We will. There is no quit in this movement. We stood last Sunday. We stood at Legacy Place. It was a cold rain. It was about 62 degrees. It poured. Most of us got soaking wet. We were standing on the sidewalk. The venue there, Dana and Tracy, and there was water because there was a storm drain filled, and so water had pooled out into more of the travel lane, and cars were going by, and trucks, and hitting that deep water that was 4 or 5 feet away from the curb line, and just drowning us. You know what I mean? So we had to back pedal up onto the high ground where the bark mulch is, but. There were probably 20 of us there. We got a great picture there. Everybody was in slickers and raincoats. Yeah. We're going to be there. Tomorrow's Friday. If you want to put out anything that, tomorrow at 11:30, there'll be hopefully some numbers at the Canton Police Station, 1492 Washington Street. You can come with any sign you want. you don't have to be a Canton resident. You can come from any state, any town, with any sign you want. If you want Chris Albert to resign, bring that sign. If you want to talk about Sandra Birchmore, bring that sign. You want to talk about Enrique, bring that sign. And whatever. It's about justice, and that particular segment that we're there for is starting with the John O'Keefe culprits, but it can go any way you want, and we have no limitations to what people show up with, other than keep it professional and
Right.
And classy.
yeah.
Dennis is saying the standout tomorrow is 11-1, not 11:30. He's very adamant.
Okay, well, that's fine. He must have some football jerseys to sign up at Patriot Place. Maybe he's got a.
Yeah.
Dennis wants to get an early start. He's like, all right. Well,
All right.
let me see. So, I guess we'll let you go because we're taking up a good amount of your time. But I mean, we'd love to have you back again sometime soon. Always a pleasure to have you on, Peter. And Jesus, let's keep hoping for the best and let's keep pushing forward. I mean, do you have anything in closing?
We got a lot covered tonight. I mean, we zigged and we zagged and we got there. I think, the pressing right now that's before us, time wise, is Mike Finnerty, Dave Finnerty, Mike.
Dave, yeah, there is a Mike Finnerty. That's his brother, but Dave,
Yeah.
Steve.
Okay,
Jen's
yeah.
actually in the chat right now. So
Okay, so I mean, we only have a couple of weeks to get that job done, and
Yep.
as I said, if somebody can reach out to your platform as a lawyer, or maybe through Betero or anybody, Melanie, I don't care, and just say, hey, listen, these are the buttons you have to push to try to stop this from sentencing. I don't know if they exist, but obviously, I don't want to see somebody get falsely sentenced for a crime they didn't commit. And I've said I'll do everything I can, and I'm still heading and charging in that direction. I just don't have, the resources or the connections to figure out what has to be done to
Right.
bring it to at least a stay before they sentence. Somebody should be able to do it. I hope. I wouldn't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, it's it's unfortunate what's happening, but I mean the support is it's been growing, and I'm glad to see that. Everybody, people in the chat and people, again, even Jen had said, she's like, we didn't know hardly anybody that was at this fundraiser, and so many people showed up and showed their support. So that's a great thing. That's how things move forward. You got to get the word out, and people need to just kind of open their eyes. So
Right.
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, and I want to thank you. It's always a pleasure to talk with you folks and to work with you and see you at the standouts and see you at the State House, Tracy and Dana. That's a four-letter word, that work word. I know, but you had to do it. But you did your part. You put a live stream together for us, which was amazing, which was great.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked out.
I know.
Job well done.
Yeah, it takes an army, Peter. We just keep on pushing.
Yep. We'll get it. And there is no quit in this movement. And you
Absolutely not.
guys have been tremendous. And that's all I can say. Thank you for everything you do. And we'll keep on trudging ahead.
Awesome. Thank
Yeah.
you for what you do, Peter. You're an amazing man. You're one of my favorite people in this entire world. So we love you.
Thank you.
I thought Dylan was.
Oh, well,
Oh, two-timing.
Yeah, it goes. Yeah, it is, Peter.
Okay.
All right. Well, we'll let you go. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you soon. I might see you Friday.
Yes, and we got a lot. We got a lot coming up. We got obviously court dates and so forth and so on. And
Yeah.
I think Chief Perkins, he's going to be a significant player in the weeks to come. So let's see what happens.
Absolutely.
All righty.
Keep our fingers crossed and keep on praying, you know.
Yep. We got it.
All right.
All right, Peter. Be well.
All
Thanks,
right.
Peter.
See you soon.
Talk soon. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Have a great night. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. Well, that was amazing. I love Peter. I think we all love Peter. He's just a wealth of information, and he's got a great background. And yeah, just a great guy. Love spending time with him. But at these standouts, what? Oh, okay. We have a little impromptu guest or two. Someone who we've been missing quite a bit is back in town, and she's out with some turkey who causes problems. And I'm just going to bring them on real quick just to say hi because we missed her so much. Both of them. Hey. Can you hear us?
Yes. Can you hear us?
You guys
We're
are wicked
reporting
choppy.
live from the Abington Ale House.
Oh, you're at the Abington Ale House. Yes.
Yep.
So, Barbie, we missed you. What have you been doing down there in Florida?
Just laying in the sun and, laying in the sun. Hanging by the pool or the beach or whatnot.
Kendra, I love your glasses.
I'm freezing up here.
So what are you guys doing? What'd you have for dinner?
Buff chick dip.
What is it?
Buffalo chicken dip.
Oh, they have the best buffalo. I mean,
we almost stole the neighbors' nachos, but
oh, you totally should. Be like, don't you know who I am?
now I'm 3 stories high, right? Yeah. Yeah.
You guys are like wicked hard to hear and you're wicked choppy.
Oh, because we're gonna put the phone up so we can talk into it. Is that better? Hello? Hello? So how are you guys doing?
We're good. We miss you.
Oh, when's our meeting? Hold on.
All right, I gotta let you guys go because it's just way too. It's not happening. It's like we can't even barely hear you. But why don't you guys come on the show like for real, like in a like studio situation, and we'll get to talking.
Yes, we would love to.
Awesome. Let's plan it. Let's plan it.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Bye. Love you, Barbie. Good to see you. Kendra, I miss you. Kendra, call me. Okay. Bye. Oh my God. They tried to be in a quieter area because they were going to be on the show, but I don't know whose phone that was, but I'm guessing it was Kendra's, but I'm not. What? Going to watch? Oh yeah, right, Chili Beans.
We started watching that last night. It's absolutely out of control.
We couldn't stay up for the last one,
Yeah.
but oh my God.
Yeah, we watched one of the 2 episodes. It was great.
Yeah, that was great. Real quick, I just want to read some donations here from our wonderful friend Cheryl Breen.
Oh,
Thank you for the $10, and it says for coffee.
No.
And Tina Shepard paid $10, and she said, "Thank goodness for your show. Thank goodness
thanks,
for people
Tina.
like you and Cheryl, Tina."
Yep.
So
We miss you both.
we do.
We haven't seen you in a bit.
All right, we're going to go over some things real quick, just some dates and stuff like that. We don't want to hold you guys up for very long, but Dana, just show me where to
go. Let's go to. Oh shit!
What?
Well, this is that one there, I guess.
Is that one?
This one first.
Okay.
So there's some dates coming up for Matthew Farwell. They're not until October, but save the dates. October 6th and October 16th. Both are at the Moakley building. So hopefully you can get in there and show some support for Sandra. I know Mizzy is, appreciating all the support. And at this point, looking at a year since Farwell was actually arrested, we're looking to push things forward. So hopefully, one of these court dates, I think during the 16th court date, they're anticipating the trial date will be set, but that's yet to be seen, obviously. So we shall see what's happening.
We made an observation. Well, we meaning Timma made an observation at Dive Bar the other night, and we kind of got a picture of just kind of the height difference between Farwell and Sandra, just to get a little glimpse of what we're looking at. So this girl was what, 4'11"?
I'm pulling it up. She's an inch taller than Sandra, and Timma is an inch shorter than Farwell. So Timma's 6'3", Farwell was 6'4". This girl was 4'11". Hold on, my brain's not working properly.
Anyway, she was way shorter than him, and pregnant.
Sandra was 4'10". This girl was 4'11". So
she had no chance.
I mean, show that again. Chance. It's just that's insane. Look at the size difference. It's absolutely just disgusting that a grown ass man would prey on someone that much. I mean, in general, just to be preying on anyone.
And his own child.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that was a great observation, and we just wanted to show it to you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
This here too.
This?
Yeah. So there is a stand.
Oops, sorry.
There is a standout coming up September 27th, Stoughton Center, 12 to 3, across from the town hall, 10 Pearl Street in Stoughton. So save the date for that as well. Get out there, as usual, wear the white and the powder blue. All the Sandra signs are, obviously that's why we're there for that. So please get out there and show your support for Sandra.
I just want to mention. So that is this Saturday. I know a couple of people who are going, and thank you for your support. Kevin and Carol will be actually running that race, as they do a lot of races to raise awareness and funds for certain things. So thank you guys for doing that.
And for anybody who's not familiar, Conrad's Law. So, briefly, it's basically they're trying to put a law against basically encouraging someone else to take their own lives.
Right. Whether it be cyber leave,
right.
Over text, over phone, over anything. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about the story, there's it's not a documentary, but it's a what is it? It's a show on that HBO did, and it's called now I forget what it's called. Dana's going to look it up. But also there's plenty of documentaries out there that will tell you the story of Conrad's unfortunate death. What else? Let's see. This real quick. Star Driving t-shirts that Dana and I are wearing tonight. Look at those. Crew neck, $30. Is mine a crew neck? Mine's a t-shirt. T-shirts, $30. And look at that long sleeve tee. I love me that in the fall. $40. So either let us know or reach out to Erica. I believe we posted something on our page recently, and I will repost that information. So if you want a shirt to support the Star Driving and Erica and all she's done to help us in the movement, and that'd be great. We'd appreciate that. What else?
Is that the one?
I Love You, Now Die. The Commonwealth versus Michelle Carter. That's the one.
Okay.
Oh, check that out. It's pretty disturbing.
It really is.
Yeah. What else?
over a couple of things, but those were all Peter topics, so it's all fine. So I did want to, again, while we're here, we continue to, fight for the people that can't fight for themselves. Officer John O'Keefe, just en route, showing the support, trying to get answers for Enrique. I mean, again, 2 days from now will be 1 year since Enrique and Sandra Birchmore. Obviously, the battle goes on. We continue to fight for justice for these people and for people that are having, look at David Finnerty's case. It's unbelievable that, we're having to, stand up for people when, these people that are in power should be doing their jobs properly, right? Right. I mean, that's what they signed on for. I want to be an officer because I want to be, I'm a good person and I want to make a difference in the world. It's like, well, if you're not a good person, then you're probably not going to be a good officer. If you're not a good person, you're not going to be a good politician. I mean, shit. It's just messed up.
I remember back in the day, I had a friend who was big in the political arena in Weymouth. All that he talked about was how much money he was going to make when his friend got elected. So don't be mistaken, friends.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in it because they think their values are awesome, or some of them are. I don't want to say all, but there are promises, political promises being made in the inside. So I think we all know that, but it's why some people follow stupid people.
Mm-hmm.
And ignorance is one of my biggest pet peeves. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I fully agree. Yeah, Scott, I actually reached out to Erica today. She sent me quite the story regarding the Star Drive-In. I was at work and I rushed home and I didn't really have a chance to go through it all, so I don't want to speak to it at this stage. But there are things going on. I'm unclear about it right now, but
maybe we should have her on.
Yeah,
if she wants.
Yeah,
if she wants.
Yeah, I can talk to her.
But
yeah, more to come. We'll find out. I mean, the Star Drive-In's a great place. As of right now, she's slated to close in March because the lease runs out, and we're hoping that that's not the case because it's been there for so long, and she's owned the business for, I believe, for 10 years now herself, and Jesus, they want to put down like a gas station or something stupid.
Something ridiculous.
For love of God, stop it. Their food is amazing, Coco.
It is amazing.
Yeah. Hi, Tracy's sister, by the way.
Lisa. Yeah. So, yeah. What else?
I think that's really kind of.
Yeah, we apologize for rushing. We were so behind. We both worked today and had to get children places and stuff like that, and we actually had to eat our dinner.
You want to mention that at all?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I had a Hey Now video from Kurt, but I didn't get a chance to upload it. So
no.
I thought I did, but I don't think I did. So
hey, Alex.
We'll have
I miss
to...
you too, honey.
Oh, hi, Alex. How are you? We did that. Let's talk about this guy here real quick. This guy's coming out pretty soon, so get ready. October will be here before it's like actually like a like a month from tomorrow, I believe.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah. So
oh my God.
I think I could have my dates wrong. But yeah, Dylan's coming out. Dylan will be here. And I did want to make a mention of, well, for one, Microdots, obviously. If you haven't subscribed to Microdots, you haven't checked out Microdots. Go check Micronauts out. You won't be disappointed. The stories and everything that he comes up with, how he presents everything, it blows me away every single day. Every time he puts something out there, I'm like, my good Lord, well done, sir.
Yeah, currently he's working on, he made an actual digital scale of fake victims apartment complex and her apartment. So he's going to come out with something real detailed and intense regarding Aiden's struggles with her. So, oh yeah, don't forget tomorrow night is the Wang Center for
Wilbur.
the Wilbur. Sorry, no, is it the Wilbur?
I believe it's a Wilbur.
I got my W's mixed up.
For
Aiden and Auntie Deb. So have a great time. We're unable to make it. So have fun.
I like the way you think, though.
You do? Wang. I said Wang. The Wilbur. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Lauren S.
Yeah, thank you, Lauren. I did want to make one honorable mention because this brings me much joy.
Oh.
We're looking at about 10 days now till the Bruins' first preseason game.
Rubies.
So Sunday, September 21st, 5 o'clock, they play at the Capitals. And the first home game is Thursday, October 9th against Chicago.
We'll probably be there.
I am hoping that we're going to be there. So I'm very excited for hockey season.
We haven't missed a home game, home opener in.
Jesus, it's been
longer for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you went with Skylar one time, and then you went with Eddie one time. So I've missed a couple in between.
No, I've gone to like the.
No,
this is before I even met you.
Yeah, you've gone. I'm just saying, like as far as you and I together. Yeah, Lauren, there you go. Go Bees.
It's Rhonda. Yep. No, Lauren, big hockey fan.
Scott keeps talking about Wangs too.
Yes. Oh boy, love it. Anywho, on that note,
again, thank you to Peter Murphy for joining. I really, truly, Tracy says, I love that man, one of my favorite people, and it's true. I mean, he's legit. He's the real deal.
And he's just so kind.
Yeah, and
he's a kind man.
He is, and he's very he's very knowledgeable about what's going on. He's very in touch with things, and I trust him with my life. And if he thinks that things are going to happen at some stage, they will. We're not going to say it's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen next month or by the end of the year. But you know what? Shit's going to happen. Stay tuned.
Yep, and we'll be there.
Yeah, I can't fucking wait.
I know.
And again, Saturday, say a prayer for Enrique and Enrique's family. It'll be the 1-year anniversary of his passing. So keep that in mind as you go about your weekend. Hopefully they'll get some answers soon. Hopefully things, again, changing, training processes and protocols and all that other stuff's not going to, bring him back, and it's not going to give the family the answers that they need. So, thanks for changing the process now. What the shit?
What the shit?
Asshole.
Personal note, Dana and I have our high school reunion this Saturday. 35 years for me and 36 for you.
Yep. Happy reunion.
So, yeah. So pictures to follow.
Yeah. We have to call Peter Murphy, call that Uber driver that he was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Hey there, Mr. Uber.
All right. On that note,
Hey now.
we're going to get on out of here. Thank you guys for joining us. We had a lot of people in the studio tonight. So I think people feel the same as we do about Peter Murphy. So thanks for joining us. And we promise to bring Kendra and Barbie back on sometime soon, sooner than later. And that's it.
Yeah, Dylan is going to a Patriots game. I don't know what October 21st is, Rhonda. And yeah, okay.
Okay. Good night, guys. Have a good night. We love you. Thanks for being here.
Bye now.